in this video, I'll break down 5 music video effects for Final Cut Pro 10. Now, some of these effects and packs are going to cost money, while some of these effects are completely free. The links to the paid packs will be down in the description below, so if you want to go ahead and purchase them, the links are down below. The first pack I want to go over is this really cool cinematic music video title pack by Cinepack. So if I head over here to the title section, now this is a plugin. So what you would do is you would put this in your titles folder in your motions template. The screen recording will be up on screen. This is not an overlay, this is a plugin. This is basically a title plugin, so it'll go in the title folder in your motions template. So you can see Final Cut Pro title. So again, this is a plugin, not an overlay. So as you can see, here are all the different templates you will get. So here are all the music video title templates. So all you would do is you would take the title, place it on top of your clip or just wherever you want the title to be, and then I'm just going to trim the title, and then you can see, simple as that. You just have a nice clean title on top of your video, so this can just be used for a nice clean title screen. Now what you would do is you would select the title, and all you're going to do is you're going to double click on the wording. So what you would do is just double click on the wording, and then as you can see, we'll just type in, I think the song is like California California Breeze, so Fornia Breeze, I think that's spelled right. And then you would do is just, you see, you go to size, and then you can just adjust the size. You can also go over here to font. You can edit the font, so it's just like any normal title, simply as that. So you see, you can just adjust the size of the title, and then also too, you just the artist name, double click on the artist name. All you just do is double click on the text, simple as that, and then we'll just bring up this text window, and then we'll just type in little baby. So it's just like any other text, it just works like any other text plugin, simple as that. Double click on the title, and then you can easily edit the text. Now the one downside to this plugin is it doesn't give you as much customization as I would like. So you see, if you go over here to title and you go over here to the text section, here's where the published parameters would be. However, if you're looking at your title, you realize there are no published parameters. So see, if I take a title, place it on top, and then go over here, there are no published parameters. So you can obviously go over here, select on the title, double click on the text like you would, and then you have some customization. You go to face, and then you can change the color. So you can change a little bit of the color. Actually, we'll just go ahead and let's disable that, and let's select all the text, highlight all the text, go over here to face, and then we can easily change the color to like a green. So that's basically how you would change the color of the text. It just works like any other basic text. However, you can't really change the color of the circles, or you don't have as much customization as I would like. There's a very easy fix to that, and that fix is using Apple Motion. Now if you don't have Apple Motion and you use Final Cut, I highly suggest it. The program only costs $50, and basically what it does is all these plugins, any plugin that you see in Final Cut is created in Apple Motion. So you can open it in Motion and then basically kind of customize it. So for example, I can select on this text. What you do is select on the text, the plugin, whatever you have, right click, as you can see, open in Motion. So now it's going to open Apple Motion, and now you can really edit the text or publish some of the parameters so that you can use it in Final Cut. So Apple Motion is a must-have tool if you're using Final Cut. It's basically like After Effects for Final Cut. It gives you so much customization. You can build your own plugins, you can edit other people's plugins in Apple Motion. Highly suggest buying this program. So it'll just take a little while to open Motion. So as you can see, Apple Motion is loaded up, and as you can see, here is the text. So like I said before, all this stuff is created in Apple Motion. So let's say you want to change the color of the circle, but you can't do that in Final Cut. So what you would do is you would identify the element. So you can see here is a circle, so this circle over here. What you would do is you just select on the circle, so select on that element. So you can go ahead and check and make sure it's the right element. Select on that element. What you want to do is head over here to Inspector, and then you're going to figure out what you want to publish to Final Cut. So the scale, position, or whatever. In this case, we're going to do the fill color. So you locate what you want. So fill color, here is what we want to be able to customize the color in Final Cut. So what you would do is go to the very end, see this drop down arrow, select on the drop down arrow, and then it will bring up this window. And all you would do is just click on Publish. And basically that will allow you to change the color of that circle in Final Cut. So you can do that to the scale, the position, whatever you want. You can basically publish it, and then you can edit that in Final Cut. So you can see if I head over here to project and then also go over here to project, here are all the published parameters. Now this is really important. Once you publish a parameter, what you would do is click on Command S to save it. So that way, you know, a message will pop up to kind of like make sure you save the actual published parameter. But it's really nice. You can go through all the titles, the titles that you want to use, and just publish the different parameters. They aren't published for you, so you have to open up Apple Motion. Now it's okay if you don't have Apple Motion. You can just, again, like I showed you before, you can just simply edit the text. But if you want a little more customization and be able to do a little more things with the actual title, highly encourage you to incorporate Motion with that workflow. Now once you're in Final Cut, I would probably suggest to just delete the title. So just delete the title and then reapply it onto the actual clip. If that doesn't work, I would try like closing out Final Cut and restarting it just to make sure all the changes are saved. And again, as you can do, you go over here selecting the title, and then now you can go over here to text, and now you can basically, as you can see, now we can adjust the different colors of the circle. So it's just really nice. I just wanted to include that. Obviously you don't need Apple Motion, but I just wanted to include that in the video for more, you know, advanced editors. It's fine, you can just use the title however you want, but again, if you want a little more customization, I highly encourage you to use Apple Motion. But of course, Apple Motion works not just with this title plugin, but with all kinds of different things. Definitely highly encourage you to do, but that's pretty much it. That's basically how you would edit the title. So you can see, go over here, and then let's just double click on the text itself. Make sure we're just gonna take the entire text, and then we'll type in California, I think that's how you spell it, breeze, and let's go ahead and just take these size down, and let's just change the font to whatever we want, and let's just increase the font a little bit, and then head over here to artist name, double click on the artist name, and we'll just put in again Little Baby. Obviously this is going to be different depending on your video, but there you go. There's, you know, it obviously doesn't look that great. I'm kind of like rushing through it, but you just go through and kind of edit the text, and that's how you do it, just, you know, without using Apple Motion. Now, you know, a couple little like things I want to show you is you can actually just go ahead and duplicate this text, and now you can do is you can add some glow to the actual text effect. So head over here to the effects panel. You want to make sure it's just duplicating the text layer, and then we're going to add a Gaussian blur. So you can see, add Gaussian blur, place it below the bottom clip, and then as you can see, there you go, it has a really nice glow. So just duplicate it and then add the Gaussian blur to the bottom layer. As you can see, now you have this really, this might be, you know, a little too intense, but just adds a nice glow effect to your actual text. So you see, if I play the video, that's what it looks like. It just looks so cool. Of course, you could animate the glow if you wanted to. Now let's go ahead and just create a compound clip, and just Option G, and we'll just call this text, because it'll just be so much easier if we group it all together. Now this is, you know, obviously up to you. Whatever you want to do to the text is completely up to you. Here I'm just going to show you a couple things I would do. Is I would, or encourage to do, is add a drop shadow. So let's take the drop shadow, apply it onto the text, and as you can see, all the drop shadow is going to do is, you can see, it's just going to add depth to the text, so give a little bit of depth, kind of character to the actual text. Now you might also want to do too is go to transitions, the transitions tab, and add a nice cross dissolve. So simply add a cross dissolve onto the title plugin, and then we can just adjust the length of the cross dissolve, and all that's going to do is, if I play, or wait for Final Cut to render, is the title, as you can see, if I play, it's slowly going to fade on, and then if I keep playing it right there, it's going to fade off. So the cross dissolve is a great transition to add on top of your title. Just so there we go, simple as that. Obviously that doesn't look that great, the color coordination is a little bit off, but I just wanted to show you the basic idea of how to use this. I highly encourage you to get this. This is a great kind of like, you know, template, or a great starting place, especially if you're new to typography, you're not really good at making music video titles. This is a great place to either like use a template or to get inspiration for your own titles. Highly encourage you to buy this. This is just really cool. As you can see, I'll show you again all the titles that come in the pack. Now this is from Cinepax. Again, this is a plugin, not an overlay. The next effect I want to go over is this really nice Dreamy Haze filter effect. So what you do is you select on your video, and you're just going to duplicate the video. This is a free effect. This is not going to cost any money. So simply duplicate the video, select in the top clip, and then we're going to change the blend mode to screen. So change the blend mode to screen, and we'll take the opacity down to maybe something like 45%. So we're going to just change the opacity down to 45%. We're going to head over to the effects panel, and we are going to add a Gaussian blur on top, on the top clip. As you can see, that just looks really nice. Let's take the amount and turn it to to 45. So you can see here's before and then here's after. Simply duplicate the clip, change the blend mode to screen, opacity to 45%, and then apply a Gaussian blur all onto the top clip. And as you can see, it creates this really nice dreamy haze effect. Now you might also want to add like a nice luma key on the effect to get a little more customization. So add a luma key or on top of the top clip or on the top clip, and then of course there's a whole bunch of different settings you can mess with it. You can also just go over here to the luma and then just adjust it. So the luma key will give you a little more customization. Now I do have a pro mist filter that basically creates the same look, but this is basically how you do it for free. And there you go, you have this really nice dreamy haze effect. Obviously don't overuse this effect, but in like certain clips this effect just looks really nice. The next effect I'm going to go over is by Ryan Nagel. It's this really cool VHS effect. Now the last time I checked, this effect is completely free, so I'll go ahead and put the link down in the description below. But it's a simple nice VHS effect. It kind of creates an old vintage, like film grain effects, as you can see, that just looks really nice. And of course you can go through the different settings and customize it to get your like specific look, but that's basically what it looks on default. And then you just go through and adjust the different settings. Now if you watch the intro, you saw the screen was kind of like tilted, almost kind of like it looked like it was kind of in 3D space. Well, that's using this really cool plugin that I have on my digital store, and it's just transform. So simply apply the transform effect onto your video. Now what this plugin does is it basically adds Apple Motion's parameters into Final Cut. So as you go to rotations, you can see I can take the Y, and as you can see I can almost move it in 3D space. Now if you're used to Final Cut, you realize this is not possible. You can't really achieve this look with Final Cut's like regular like published parameters. You can see this is you're very limited. But with this plugin, basically what I did was I published Apple Motion's parameters into Final Cut. So you can basically, it's like that basic 3D effect in Premiere Pro, you can use it in Final Cut, and there you go. That just looks really nice. So you could obviously use the VHS, a CRT like TV effect, but it's just really cool. You can basically move your video, your photos, or whatever kind of in 3D space. It's just something that is just not possible to do in just the native Final Cut Pro 10 tools. So I definitely encourage you to get this plugin. It's just basically Apple Motion's parameters published into Final Cut, which I think is really cool. The next effect I'm going to go over is a very simple effect. It doesn't take a lot of time to create, but it's basically the speed ramp effect or the speed ramp transition. Now what you want to do is you want to find a place where you want to speed up. For example, I located this spot, the place where he's putting his hand up to his face. I just felt that lasted for a little bit too long, so I want to speed that part up. So you just identify where in the clip you want to speed up. So simply click on Shift B and just the two spots right here. All I'm doing is I'm pressing Shift B. All Shift B is doing is it's blading the speed. Now as you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit, but you see you basically hover over until this icon pops up. So this icon is going to pop up, and as you can see, now I can just drag the clip. So I can just speed up or I can slow it down, and there we go. So all that Shift B did was it basically bladed the speed, not the actual clip, it bladed the speed, which gave me the ability to speed up the clip. So if I play the video before, so if here's the video now, as you can see there we go. It just like a nice little like 200% speed up. So as you can see, it just kind of speeds up right there. So simply play the clip, and then there you go. It just looks really nice. It adds a lot of energy to your actual video. So simple as that. That's basically how you speed ramp in Final Cut. Now there are a couple things you might want to be aware of. Basically, if I head over here, see this little like blue line, this is the transition. So this is kind of like the speed ramp transition. So I can kind of, maybe I want to select here, and I'm going to select this, and I'm just going to maybe this base, that way the transition is going to be a lot fast or a lot smoother. So this is basically how it transitions. So here is where like I'm not sure like technically speaking, but I think like right here is where it hits 250%. So this little like gray area is kind of transitioning, speeding up. So you kind of adjust it to make it go really fast or really slow. That is just a nice little tip to know. Now also, if you want to bring up for example, let's say the clip is like this, how do you bring up the speed options? Click on Command R, and that is going to bring up the retiming tool. A couple of things you might want to be aware of is if I head over here to the clip, you can come over here to the speed options and adjust the different speeds, fast, slow, blade speed. So here are all the different speed options. You can also go over here to this down arrow, so select on this down arrow, and then you can go over here fast, slow, normal, custom, and you can kind of like adjust the settings. So that's kind of like like a couple little tips and tricks. Also, sometimes a nice little tip is go over here and then select on video quality, and then then click on optical flow. You might want to have that checked if you're slowing down the clip, but that's basically a couple tips and tricks and just things you should be aware of when you're doing any kind of speed ramping. Now also to add to like a nice speed ramp is a nice zoom in. So I'm going to do the zoom in effect via an adjustment layer. So head over to the title section and then add an adjustment layer over top of where you want it to speed up or kind of like scale in. Make sure it's over this entire clip, or else it'll just kind of like zoom in and then just zoom back out. So what you would do, select on the adjustment layer, let's select on scale, let's go forward 1 2 3 4 5, something like this, and we go, yeah, that probably will look good. Let's increase the scale a little bit. And then, actually, I don't think I keyframe the position, so let's place a marker so we know where it stopped. So let's also place a keyframe on position, go back to that marker, and then we'll just adjust the X and Y axis. So it'll kind of like, you know, scale in, and the position is also going to be keyframe. This is very like customizable. I'm just giving you an example. So as you can see, there we go. See, it speeds up and zooms in, which I just think adds so much energy to the video. Now also, I would encourage you to do is add some motion blur on top of the animation, just to help smooth it out a little bit. Always add motion blur on top of animations. It's going to add blur to the actual, like, you know, effect, and it will just smooth it out and make it look a lot nicer. The adjustment layer and motion blur are from Ryan Nagel. The links are down in the description below. So I go ahead and play this video. As you can see, there we go. It kind of speeds up, zooms in, and then adds some nice blur to it, which just adds so much energy to the video. This is just, you know, just a very brief example. I just want to show you the basic concept, the basic idea of how to do it, and of course, you know, do your own thing, make it look better. This is just a very quick, brief example showing you a couple tips and tricks and showing you how to speed ramp in Final Cut. Really, really effective a strategy and a great way to add energy to your video and make those like really boring long shots a lot more exciting. Now another tip you might want to be aware of is you can select on this clip, and you may want to also head over here to stabilization and then just click on stabilization and obviously adjust the method and adjust the smoothing. This clip is pretty stable, so it's not going to need it, but I just wanted to include that tip. You just select the clip, head over here to the effects source, you see, and then you just scroll down until you find stabilization, select that, and Final Cut will do its best to stabilize a shot. It's not always going to work. It's kind of a 50-50, but it's just in case your shot is a little bit too shaky, adding stabilization can help. The next effect I want to go over is this really cool Muddy Vortex pack from Brian Dalmata. Now the link is going to be down in the description below. Now this is not a plugin, this is an overlay. So what you would do is just click on Command I, and then you would locate where you have it saved. So Brian Dalmata Muddy Vortex pack. It comes with like Canadian, Euro, and USD. So you'd basically go through and select what you want. So like raining money, and then you just select, let's say I want this raining money, and then just click on import selected, and then simple as that. So it's just an overlay. You don't have to install like a plugin. It's not a preset or a plugin. It's simply an overlay. So what you would do is you would basically take the overlay, and then all you're gonna do is see this like nice Muddy Vortex. All you're gonna do is gonna place it on top of your clip. Simple as that. Just place it on top of the clip. Don't change the blend mode or anything. And simple as that. There you go. It's just a simple like transparent overlay. So now basically you can customize the actual effect. So let's say we want to increase the scale a little bit. Something like this should look good. Now the shot itself is basically like zooming in. So if I play it, the shot is zooming in. So something you may want to do, so it's zooming in here and maybe stop something like this. So let's place a marker. Now the shot is zooming in. So let's also have the Muddy Vortex itself also scale in to kind of give some depth. So it doesn't look like it's just an overlay like floating on the screen. So instead of here to scale, let's place a keyframe on scale and go to the place kind of where the clip stops zooming in, and let's also increase the Muddy Vortex. The shot itself is zooming in, so let's also have the Muddy Vortex pack also zooming in to kind of create a little bit of depth. So if I play the video, as you can see, the shot is zooming in and the Muddy Vortex pack is also zooming in. I just feel like that's going to add a little bit of like depth to the actual video. That of course is, you know, completely up to you, and you can, you know, go through and adjust it, you know, depending, you know, key from the rotation, key from the position, key from the scale, whatever you want. So let's go over here. So it'll just add a little bit of depth to the actual video itself. Now you want to match the color. Now I'm not really like, you know, super advanced at like being able to match colors in VFX composition, but a very easy, simple fix that'll most likely pass is select on the clip itself, head over here to this little icon, click on match color, and then select on the clip. So we're going to select on the clip, and then as you can see, there we go. It automatically does its best to match the colors. Now you could go through and like add a color board, add a color wheel to try your best to match it, but I just feel like it'll just be good enough just to do the match color. Again, there's probably more advanced ways of doing it, but this is just such an easy fix, and it's hard to make sure the colors are accurate, and if they're really off, it'll just look really weird. So that simple match color feature is really nice that Final Cut gives you that ability. It's not 100% accurate, but it's 99% accurate, and for just a music video, just a simple just basic video where it's just it's just a simple little overlay on top of the video, it'll pass and most people won't even really notice it. So that's just a really nice fix. Simply match the color and 99% accuracy, it'll just look really nice. And there you go. You really, it's hard to kind of tell where the actual money vortex is. It's just a really nice, quick and easy hack that you should definitely be aware of. Now also this really nice money transition. So what you would do with these transitions where they cover the screen is you're going to go ahead and go frame by frame, find the place where they cover the screen, so that it covers the screen right here. Let's zoom in a little bit more, and then you're going to place that place right in between the two clips. So you're just basically finding where it covers the screen, and there we go. Simple as that. It's a nice little transition, kind of slides across the screen, and there we go. Now also you could do is, because all these colors are basically the same, select on this one, Command C, and then click on this and Shift Command V, and all you're doing is you're pasting the match color to the transition, and there you go. Simple as that. Again, it's not perfect, but it's 99% accurate, and most people probably won't be able to tell the difference. And there you go. It just looks really nice. It's a really quick, easy fix. Rather than spending 10-15 minutes trying your best to match the color, it is just a really nice, easy fix. Now also let's do a nice little money flying across the screen. Let's place it on top of the clip. Let's go ahead and just trim the money floating one, and let's just kind of place this below the transition. So this will just look a lot nicer. Also with the money vortex, it kind of hides the money vortex a little bit. Now let's go ahead and increase the scale to maybe something like 1/210 or something like that. Let's really increase the scale on this one, and as you can see, it's really close to the camera, or really close to the actual screen, so you can add some nice Gaussian blur. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and paste the match color onto this flying across screen. So as you can see, there we go. The colors are matched, and that just looks really nice. Now to add a little bit of depth, you can go ahead over here to the effects panel, and let's just add a nice Gaussian blur. So apply the Gaussian blur onto the top one, and let's change the amount to something like maybe 12 or something like that. It's just really nice because we zoomed in that money a little bit, farther into the screen than the other one. It just is really nice to see. It just adds, it feels like there's more depth between this video, this money overlay and this one. I just feel like it does a good job of being able to create depth. Now also, if you want to add that nice glow effect to your money, select on the money vortex. Let's duplicate the money vortex, and then also apply a Gaussian blur onto the bottom layer, just like we do that text one in the beginning of the video. And there you go. As you can see, let's disable this one. As you can see, it's flying the money flying across the screen, and there you go. Simply duplicate and then place a Gaussian blur onto the bottom layer, and there you go. You have this really nice glow effect. So if you want to add a nice glow effect, it's simple as that. You can do it to text, overlays, whatever you want, and there we go. That just looks really nice. So we play the video, and then as you see, it transitions into the next clip, and of course you could add some more money overlays onto. But there you go. That's pretty much the simplest explanation. I just want to give you a very basic idea of how to use it, and some tips and tricks to just make it look a little more advanced rather than just slapping an overlay on top of the clip. I want to give you some really cool advanced ways of doing it. Now you can also go ahead and head over here, and because these overlays are 60 frames per second, so you can speed ramp them, you can slow them down or speed them up. So again, like I showed you before, click on Shift B, so find a place like this, Shift B, and then we can just slow it down a little bit. So I'm just going really quick, but these are all in 60 frames per second, so you can kind of slow them down. So if you want to kind of slow the money down, or you could speed it up. Speed ramping is a great technique, especially trying to match the energy of the clip itself. I just did a very quick example, but obviously take your time. You just follow the same steps that I showed you earlier on in the video. So that's just a little tip. Sometimes speed ramping can add to make the overlay make it look a lot more dynamic. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you enjoy these types of videos, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out my digital store where I sell Final Cut Pro 10's plugins, presets, and overlays. Anyways, I will see you in the next one. Peace.